Good day everyone, I'm Leslie May Abarapuso together with my group mates Aubrey May Advincola, Ruby Jane Espino, Ruchi Ann Claro, and Abigail Dante. And we are here to present our episode 2, Managing Classroom Routines and Discipline. There would be 11 parts in the video discussing our classroom observation we found on YouTube from grade 10 students of Malabon National High School with their English teacher, Ma'am Noemi Paisa. Functions performed by the teacher. Teacher's function is to assist students in learning by transferring knowledge and creating an environment in which students will learn efficiently. Teachers, on the other hand, play a variety of roles that differ from one society to another, from one educational level to another. In the classroom observation we found on YouTube from grade 10 students of Malabon National High School, the English teacher uses effective strategies and prepared learning materials that imposes learner-centered design in the classroom discussion. Consecutively, the teacher accepts different perspectives from learners but with guidance or scaffolding. Hence, she graded student work and offered feedback from students. Furthermore, the teacher facilitates learners through different activities that is not stagnant only to the teacher's ideas. Hence, the educator uses mobility in the classroom, allow collaboration and brainstorming within their classmates, and above all, acknowledge learners' capability. Importance of effective classroom management. Research indicates that classroom management systems are helpful in regulating student behavior and learning. Thus, they maintain an ordered learning environment for students, improve academic abilities and competencies, and promote social and emotional growth. Hence, communication in the classroom discussion is pivotal for successful learning. Furthermore, in the discussion of Ma'am Noemi Baisa, she has a clear and consistent lines of communication with the learners. She hears every student and encourages all students to take part in the discussion. She also made use of different learning materials and established a positive learning environment. Above all, classroom management is an important skill that every teacher should possess. Student achievement greatly depends on the knowledge acquired in the classroom. With the right approach, teacher can positively influence student behavior, thus facilitate children's learning process and personal development.
Rules and regulations. It is important that teachers impose classroom rules to maintain appropriate behaviors in class. This can also be a great factor in molding students on how to act properly in society, significantly on their work ethics. Rules and procedures may vary among teachers depending on their principle of teaching, whether they like to create an active learning environment, enhance motivation to learn, collaborative learning, or they like to provide timely feedback, and so much more. Designing rules and regulations. Promoting consistent and value-based rules can help build a positive learning environment where all students have the opportunity to explore, have fun, and feel safe while learning. Identify specific classroom rules and procedures for general expectations for behavior, beginning and ending the class day or the period, transitions and interruptions, materials and equipment, group work, seat work, and teacher-led activities. The teacher should emphasize the importance of behaving inside and outside of the classroom. Rules regarding on the participation of students before and during the class discussions should also be implemented. Teacher must encourage students to be participative and to raise a hand when addressing something necessary in the middle of the class to avoid further disturbance of the class discussions. Materials and equipment should be accessible to students, specifically in laboratories. Group work should be done collaboratively, and the teacher must always remind students to always follow instructions and kindly ask the teachers for any clarifications. Teachers could also involve students in creating classroom rules so that they could visualize their desired classroom environment for a whole academic year. Most importantly, be firm with the rules and let the students know about the consequences, which does not necessarily mean to be heavy-handed, because in order for the students to respect the rules, they have to realize what's going to happen when they break them.
For the students' involvement in designing and implementing, our group has 4 observations. The first observation is that teaching pedagogy is incorporated with technology and social media accounts, and an example that is mentioned in the video is Twitter. The second observation is that the discussion is designed in a way that the students are to participate actively during the discussion. The teacher is asking questions about the topic. The third observation is that the topic is about love, which seems to be appealing to the students. And the fourth observation is that the activities given by the teacher entices the students' metacognition. The teacher is asking about the characters of the poem and what they symbolizes, making the students think beyond their thinking. So according to Krashen's theory of affective filter, if the affective filter is lowered by creating a learning environment that is conducive, in which the students are more motivated and suffer from less anxiety and low self-esteem, the possibility of the success in achieving a second language acquisition is greatly improved. Thus, as future English teachers, it is important that we teachers include the students in their interest in designing the classroom instructions to keep them motivated and participative during the teaching learning process.
Consequences versus punishments. So these terms are often used interchangeably when talking about discipline. There's a big difference between consequences and punishments. So punishments is a behavior that inflicts emotional or physical pain on a child. It is used as a means of coercion to get a student to become well or to do what the teacher wants. For example, in the classroom observation that we had, when a teacher asks a question, students are expected to raise their hand to answer the question, and in exchange to that, they will receive praise and a positive compliment from the teacher. But on the other hand, if they did not participate to the class, there will be a probability that they will receive a poor performance rate. So that is a form of punishments. Students who participate or interested in learning or the active type of students receive less type of punishments in classrooms, unlike those students who is noisy, distracting, or the passive type of students. On the other hand, consequences are a result of a behavior, whether positive or negative. Allowing natural consequences to occur is best, if possible, so children learn the cause and effect relationship of their behavior and its consequences. Please always remember the important factors of consequences and punishments. Students are imperfect. They tend to commit some mistakes in order to learn better. A very encouraging and a positive approach is advised when addressing inappropriate behavior. So when addressing inappropriate behavior, 1. There should be a healthy balance between negative consequences for inappropriate behavior and the positive consequences for appropriate behavior. Next is reinforcements. So this involves recognition or reward for positive behavior or for the timely cessation of negative behavior. Third is punishments. So this involves some kind of negative consequences for inappropriate behavior. Another is no immediate consequences. So this involves some type of reminder or warning when an inappropriate behavior appears imminent. Lastly is combined punishments and reinforcements. So this involves recognition or reward for appropriate behavior in conjunction with consequences for inappropriate behavior. Teacher-student relationship. A sound teacher-student relationship are an important component of student success. This is according to Hattie 2009, cited in the study of Cram and Kunnell 2004. Successful teacher-student bonds are frequently characterized as one in which the teacher earns the student's trust and in which the students feel emotionally safe, feel supported by the teacher, and is challenged to excel academically. It is a relationship that emphasizes constructive guidance sustained by praise rather than persistent criticism. Teachers fosters positive bonds with students by creating a constructive classroom climate, treating students with respect, having high expectations for all students, and maximizing success for each student. Positive relationship between teachers and students enhance students' receptivity to instruction. Negative relationships have the opposite impact, increasing the likelihood that students who feel uncomfortable or threatened by a teacher will attempt to escape and avoid lessons. That is why teachers are encouraged to adapt classroom management strategies to have a classroom climate conducive to instruction and to avoid a learning environment where chaos reigns and learning is elusive. Teachers who adapt, master, and maintain the technical and soft skills of clear communication, set high expectations for all students, avoid explicit and implicit biases, motivate students, and show empathy will significantly increase student success and gives meaningful satisfaction for the teachers as well.
The start of the school year is a key time to lay the foundations for classroom discipline. The design and layout of your classroom sends a clear message to your students about how you will maintain order in the classroom. The first days of class are often a time when students need to be made aware of the routines you will use, as well as the procedures they will need to learn. Now, the best way to ensure successful management of the classroom is to establish these procedures early in the year and reinforce them with frequent practice. YouthVillages.org cites 7 factors that can help give students a more successful school year. We can 1. Encourage realistic thinking, create a daily routine, fostering an environment for friendships and support systems, identifying goals for the school year, helping students get involved in managing their own fears, monitoring parental stress levels, and of course, celebrating success. There are numerous ways to assist learners in preparing for the school year. And to begin, you have to make a plan. You have to recognize difficulties, praise our learners' participation in critical thinking, and of course, encourage independent problem solving and able to help them persevere and grow. It is critical for effective teaching to create a learning environment in which the students feel safe, recognized, and encouraged to learn. A large part of establishing such a learning environment as a teacher is dependent on your ability to maintain control over your classroom. Now, this is where classroom management comes into play. The approach to classroom management that you use has a significant impact on your effectiveness as a teacher. Now, there are 4 types of classroom management styles. We have the authoritarian, the authoritative, the permissive, and the indulgent classroom management styles. However, as per compliance regarding the new curriculum, the best classroom management style in today's era of schooling is the authoritative classroom management. Firm but fair, authoritative teachers set up rules for the classroom and consistently enforce them. They value the input of their students and are receptive to suggestions for improvements in the learning environment. An authoritative teaching style provides students with guidelines as well as freedom to pursue their own endeavors. It is characterized by collaboratively exploring knowledge and working together while maintaining the classroom's established rules and orders. Students feel empowered to take responsibility for their learning, fostering a sense of autonomy. When setting expectations and determining reasonable consequences for rule breaking, authoritative teachers take into account their students' individual situations or circumstances. They also provide consistent positive reinforcement for good work. For these reasons, an authoritative approach to classroom management is ideal for both students and teachers. Students will more likely respect and like their teachers, and they become more socially competent and responsible.
For the characteristics of effective behavior managers, our group has 8 observations. First observation includes different ideas from the students are being heard by the teacher. The teacher also entices the students to recite by giving them good feedback. Another is the teacher is asking in a soft and mellow tone, which contributes to the friendliness aura of the teacher.
Although the title says it's Laura, but then what made you think that it's really talking about Laura?
The fourth is that the teacher smiles all the time and has, again, a friendly aura. Number 5 observation is that the teacher jokes around or inserts jokes during the discussion, which makes the discussion more fun and interesting. The 6th observation is that the classroom seating arrangement was designed in a way that the students are focused in front of the class or and the teacher, and the classroom is also neat as seen in the video. The 7th observation is that the classroom instructions and instructional materials are written in a readable size, which is 1 to 2 inches every 10 feet reading distance. And the 8th observation is that students with eye problems such as myopia or nearsightedness or farsightedness are seated in front of the class for better visualization of the instructional materials. So according to Derek Meader in an article published in The Thought Co., respecting the students is essential in boosting the teacher's effectiveness. Other than this, if we are bad at classroom management, we may appear unprofessional, arrogant, or unapproachable to our students. However, we should also remember that we should impose a border wherein the teacher stays as a teacher and the students will stay as our students. We can also observe in the video that the teacher has the golden virtues. The first is the teacher is patient in giving instructions to the students. The teacher is also consistent in giving instructions and asking thought-provoking questions to the students. And lastly, the teacher is also determined to teach the students. She is consistently reassuring that her students are listening, participating, and learning something from her discussions. We, as teachers, should always impose these golden virtues, for we are the role models of the society and our students. Thus, we should appear professional at all times, upholding the correct values and virtues in accordance to the society's standard and the standard for professional teachers.